The singular beauty of the mosquito press is that hindi siya alone. Swarm siya. Swarm ng mosquitoes.
Yan si Chuchay Fernandez, pinakaunang babaeng editor-in-chief ng Ang Pahayagang Malaya, opposition newspaper noong panahon ng diktadurang Marcos. Tinawag itong mosquito press dahil para kay Ferdinand Marcos Sr. nakaiirita ito pero hindi nakamamatay. Tulad daw ng isang insekto, ang alternatibong media kayang-kaya niyang durugin. Unang inilabas ng mag-asawang Joe at Edita Burgos ang We Forum noong 1977 bilang weekly newspaper. Pagdating ng 1981, binuo nila ang kakambal nitong pahayagan, ang Malaya, isang Tagalog daily.
Well, We Forum has been in circulation, or had been in circulation rather, for about 6 years before we were shut down by the military December 7, 1982.
Boses yan ni Joe Burgos pagkalaya niya matapos ang 2 linggong pagkakulong noong 1982 dahil sa subversion by libel. Sinampahan ng kaso ng administrasyon ang We Forum dahil sa paglabas nito ng istoryang fake ang war medals ni Marcos Sr. Noong 1983, ginawang daily broadsheet sa wikang Ingles ang Malaya.
News editor ako early 1984. And then I was appointed editor-in-chief in September 1984. I turned 27 the next month. Ba't daw siya nag-appoint ng bat? Sabi ko kasi wala. Because isang buong generation ng media din yung nawala during martial law. Not just the political leaders. Diba? Maraming nag-exile. Nag-abroad na lang. May mga namundo. Ilan-ilan. May mga pumunta sa corporate, sa business, and a few joined government or the crony press. So, yung mga na-recruit ni Joe, ilan lang yung talagang kaidaran niya. Yung mga galing nga sa wires na semi-retired na. It was run largely by young people. Puro under 30s kami. In a few months, we moved through 3 different locations. The first one was on the second floor of a very small apartment that was fronted by a vulcanizing shop that was near E. Rodriguez in Quezon City. So, yung mga una ko na-recruit na reporter, hindi sila naniniwala kasi kala nila, ano ba to? Vulcanizing shop eh. After a few months, we moved to a nearby apartment also in that area, sa Cordillera. Just after New Year of 1984, we learned that Joe Burgos had moved the office to a building his father had bought. An old but a big house, nice house on West Avenue. So, meron siyang swimming pool pero wala siyang tubig. But that was where I spent most of my 3 years as EIC of Malaya. I would arrive in the office from my house in Manila by mid-morning. By that time, our news editor would have deployed most of the reporters and photographers. We were lucky enough to be joined later by Yvonne Chua, and she became our news editor up until EDSA came along, and then she stayed on as managing editor after I left. Doon sa West Avenue, nakakatawa kasi for most of 1984, that was my first year talaga na as news editor and then as editor-in-chief. Wala kaming landline for 9 months. We could not get a landline. And then we had very frequent power interruptions na minsan kami lang ang walang ilaw doon sa buong West Avenue. So, go figure how that could happen. But we survived nung 9 months na yun because we had friendly neighbors, no? Across the street, there was a beauty parlor and a pet shop owned by by one business family. And then they lent us the use of their phones beside us. There was an antique shop. And then nakikigamit din kami ng phone noon. Ang pinaka magandang source namin ng landline was the guardhouse at Film Life Village. Our sports reporters, they befriended the guards there. Sinusupply nila ng dyaryo, tapos natutuwa yung mga guards. Pagka pumupunta doon yung mga sports reporters, nakikimarites na rin yung mga guards. Inside Film, there were at least 2 households that were friendly to us. They lent us their homes na parang veritable safe house. No? So we were able to work in those homes during those times na nawawalan kami ng kuryente. We would literally carry our what you call the IBM Roadrunners kasi yun pa noon, di naman computers ginagamit. Parang electric typewriter lang yun. And then that's where our encoders would manually encode the story.
Umabot sa 100 ang empleyado ng Malaya. Nakarating ang dyaryo sa iba-ibang bahagi ng Pilipinas, mula Ilocos, Baguio, Iloilo, Cebu, Bacolod, hanggang Davao, Maguindanao, Basilan at Sulu.
At its peak, naging 500,000 because there were several editions. The morning, the midday edition, and then there was yung Tagalog pa, Tinig ng Masa, no? And then lumalabas yung We Forum after the Supreme Court declared the raid illegal. Niresume ni Mr. Burgos yung publication noon as a tabloid. When EDSA began, when EDSA happened, 500,000 a day. Kaya it had to be done in several printers.
Ano po yung pinaka-challenging or memorable story you had to break during that time po?
Most people, they presume na it was EDSA. Well, EDSA was memorable, of course. Pero sa akin, particularly memorable to Malaya. Pero yung sa Aquino Galman trial, the investigation by the fact-finding board, the Agrava fact-finding board, and then the second inquiry by the majority, the second report by the majority of the Agrava board, and then the subsequent trial in a courtroom by 3 judges.
Tinawag na Trial of the Century ang kaso ni Ninoy Aquino at Rolando Galman sa Sandigan Bayan noong 1985. Kalaunan, tinagurian itong sham trial ng Korte Suprema. Predetermined umano ang pag-acquit sa 26 na sangkot sa assassination, kabilang si General Fabian Ver, dating Chief of Staff ng Armed Forces of the Philippines.
For me, the most important was the fact-finding board. When they were ready to come out with their majority report, na-scoop ng Malaya yun. So, naging special operations yun ng Malaya. In fact, it was so closely guarded na may mga pumunta pa talaga sa amin na rival publications. But then we discussed it among ourselves and with Mr. Burgos. And then we decided, no, this will stay as our scoop. Kung masara tayo dahil dito, di ganun lang.
Bumenta ang Malaya kasi naglalabas ito ng mga istorya na hindi mailabas ng ibang dyaryo, na karamihan ay pag-aari ng mga kamag-anak ni Marcos o kontrolado ng administrasyon.
Na-scoop ng Malaya yun because we had 3 people on the ground then. Remember, Tony Modena, and then Larry Sipin, and then si Noel Albano, our managing editor. Meron kaming deep throat, the late Senator Boy Herrera. Si labor leader siya and he was on the board. So, kaibigan siya matalik ng mga reporters namin. So, he entrusted us with that. So, press con happened and exactly at 8 a.m., nag-report sila. But by that time, naka-ready na kami ng extra edition. Magdamag kaming gumawa ng special edition, which was anchored in the majority report plus some interviews in sidebars. About 10:30 in the evening, the night before, biglang may sumigaw, tinawag si Kuya Joe, meron daw pumasok dun sa nag-intrude, nag-over the backhood, and then they were worried na baka nanakawin yung mga flats, yung report. Pinakunan niya lahat ng page. So pinagtiyagaan talagang pinakunan lahat ng page. Wala pang cellphone noon kaya ang hirap kunan mo talaga. So nakatakbo naman yung tao, so we were really quite apprehensive na. We knew it wouldn't be over until after talaga makareport sila Mr. Herrera. And the typical day noon, parang, you know, everybody has an overnight bag. Dun sa aming rundown na Toyota, we always had an overnight bag because you never know. Most of our mga toiletries, yung mga nasa overnight bag namin, donated din.
40 taon mula nang maging editor-in-chief ng Malaya si Chuchay, naniniwala siyang nabuhay ang Mosquito Press di lang dahil sa matatapang na mamamahayag.
Yun yung beauty ng Mosquito Press noon. It didn't rely on just a hardy group of journalists. It didn't succeed just because there were a few journalists who were brave enough. It's not that. The beauty of the Mosquito Press is that it got solid support from a lot of sectors, and that helped it survive those dark times. Madaming tumulong na hindi journalists. So that's what made it succeed. Kung ayaw nung tao malaman yung totoo, hindi naman sila tutulong, di ba?
Abangan sa susunod na episode ng What the F Podcast ang kwentuhan kasama pa rin si Chuchay Fernandez tungkol sa estado ng media ngayon sa ilalim ng administrasyon ni Ferdinand Marcos Jr.
Dito sa What the F Podcast, walang murahan, usapang facts lang. Pakinggan kami sa YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcast at Apple Podcast.